Hello and welcome to my Media Museum. Appreciate you spending your time with me today. And this is a bit of a rehash from the last episode 36, this being episode 37. I wanted to show my first record that I ever got in my life again. I wanted to have it be the first one on this episode. So we're doing a little bit of rerun, a little rehash, and you can see that I was very proud of it and marked it all up when I got it. And I've already discussed this one, so we're not going to talk about it anymore. We're going to go ahead and move on now. But I also had another Ray Stevens, which was another good reason to do that brief little rehash there. And we've got Guitar Zan, which was another real good song by Ray Stevens. He had a number of good comical releases that I enjoyed over the years. And the B-side was a song called Bagpipes, That's Not My Bag. But love Ray. Watched a DVD of him not too long ago, from maybe about 10 years ago, so he was pretty old in it. But it was very enjoyable. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was him down in Branson, Missouri, I believe, was where that was filmed. Now we're moving on to REO Speedwagon and Ride in the Storm out and running at 2:54. This is obviously the 45 edited version of the song. I do believe the album version runs a bit longer than that. Didn't take time to look it up, but yeah, it's more than a 3-minute long song, I do believe. March of 1977 they've got there. Being that this is a memory lane, it's obviously a reissue. In October, they put out Keep Pushing, which I believe was off of the same album, Riding the Storm Out. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. We discussed that at the end of the last episode. I am definitely not offended by people pointing out my mistakes. I know I'm not perfect. I'm just an old guy with a GoPro and an old computer doing the best I can to try and share my collections with the world. And thankfully, it seems like there are some people out there who are appreciating my efforts and enjoy the videos. So I'm going to keep doing them as long as I'm breathing and got things to show you. And trust me, I've got plenty to show you, lots more than just these 45 records. I might even go through my albums. I got a few hundred of those left still that I didn't end up purging out over the years. So next up we've got REO with Roll with the Changes, which is another really great song of theirs I love. That was off of the You Can Tune a Piano But You Can't Tune a Fish. Had a sense of humor, didn't they? And the Unidentified Flying Tuna Trot, that is a guitar solo, basically, I do believe, if I remember right. Pretty positive. That's just a instrumental. And moving on, we still got a couple more, one more REO to show you. Thought I had a couple more, but I got one more. I do have quite a few other ones, but they've already been covered in the mix boxes, and maybe even a couple of coming up, because I've still got about 5 more big mix boxes to share with you after we're done with this A to Z sorted collection. And this is another one that's silver on dark, which is hard to see. Keep the Fire Burning. And the B-side of that was a song called I'll Follow You. And that was from their Good Trouble album, which is a little later on after they had pretty much peaked. No insult intended to REO. I loved you guys. You were a great band. But by this time, you were starting to wane on your popularity. The high fidelity days were behind you, that's for sure. Like I said, love you guys, so please don't take no offense to that. Next up, we've got, you could call it a novelty record. I like theme songs. I've got a couple of CD collections of TV theme songs. And this goes back, you can see, it's one of my original 45s from when I was a child. So going back to 1975 with the theme from SWAT, which I really, really loved this song at the time and still do enjoy it, but it is kind of a little disco-y to admit it. But yeah, it only ran for 2 seasons, but I did watch it, and if nothing else, I was going to at least watch the start so I could hear the song, and then maybe turn the channel if something better was on, but I did watch SWAT. B-side that, I Wouldn't Treat a Dog the Way You Treated Me. Great title, huh? I love comedy. I've got a good sense of humor, and I just love to see things like this where people throw a little bit of comedy into their work, into their efforts, which is obviously the case here with Rick Dees and his cast of idiots doing disco, disco duck. What's up, mama? Quack, quack. I remember listening to this quite a bit. Now, I didn't really get into disco, but everybody did too a little bit. I mean, 1976, we're right at the height of it starting to really, really be popular. Saturday Night Fever, I think, was 76 or 77. I think it was 77, but Saturday Night Fever just shot it to the moon, made it extremely popular. The B-side of this was Disco Duck Part 2 Instrumental, which I guess would have allowed someone to do a little sing-along if they had the talent and ability to do so. I never could do the Donald Duck voice as well as some of my other friends, so this wasn't something that I would have tried singing along to, but I'm quite positive there were quite a few young kids trying to do so. I know some of my friends did. All right, next up, we're going back in time a little ways here. And we've got Ricky Nelson from, the Ozzie and Harriet's. I think he was the younger one. A Teenager's Romance. I know I've got some of his other songs in some of the other mixed box collections, but this is the only 45 I have in this A to Z collection, which probably goes back to somewhere around 2013, 14 or so when I sorted those out and was going through them. Might even be a little farther back than that. B-side being I'm Walking, which is a remake of the Fats Domino song, I'm Walking. You can see the credits here, Domino and Bartholomew. They were the writing team that wrote a lot of the songs that Fats Domino did. I love Fats Domino. If I had to pick one artist out of the 50s that was my favorite, it would probably be Fats Domino, even over Elvis Presley. I mean, yeah, my mom was a huge Elvis fan, and I got a lot of exposure to Elvis, and I got none against Elvis at all. But, Elvis was a performer. He didn't write stuff that I'm aware of. There may be a few songs here or there that he did some writing on, but for the most part, he was a performer, and I really respected the people that wrote and performed music, especially when they did such excellent work as Fats Domino did. But anyways, I like cover songs. It's always interesting to hear what someone else's take is on a song that you know well. And there's a few cases even where you know the remake better than the original. And sometimes, as is the case with me and Triumph, Rocky Mountain Way, I heard their version long before Joe Walsh's, and I loved it. And to this day, I still like Triumph's version better than Joe Walsh's. And Joe wrote it, but hey, that's the way things go. But yeah, I like cover songs. I like to hear people's different takes on things. And Rick Springfield here with Springfield, make sure I said it right, Rick Springfield. I do have some pronunciation issues. I admit it. I've had a speech impediment as a child, and I took a lot of work and a lot of time and effort to overcome, or mostly overcome that, and sometimes it still roars up its ugly head. But I try really hard to take my time and pronunciate things as well as I can, best I can. Some things, it's really hard when things don't sound like they're spelled. You can wonder, like, why the heck don't they just spell it the way it sounds? Make it a lot easier on a lot of people, right? But that's just the world we live in. So apologies for my mispronunciations and sometimes stutters and whatever. I do the best I can for you. Jesse's Girl, love this song. I wish that I had Jesse's Girl. Working Class Dog was probably the best album Rick Springfield ever did. I'm pretty sure it is, in my opinion anyways. And he had a lot of other good songs as well. This is one of his best ones for sure. B-side being Carry Me Away, which is not a song that I'm anywhere near as familiar with. Next up, we've got clearly a reissued version of Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers. Oh, my love, my darling. I sing that one to my wife a bit from time to time. I know I don't have the best singing voice, and the only point of me even attempting to do so on these videos is just to spark a memory. I usually try not to sing much more than just the title. Don't want to get in trouble for murdering anybody's songs or anything. But Unchained Melody is not one that you're going to know by title if you. The title doesn't give you the song, if you know what I mean. I don't think they even say Unchained Melody at any point in the song that I'm aware of. B-side being Just Once in My Life, which isn't a Righteous Brothers song I'm familiar with, but it's probably not the original B-side to the single. Like I said, this is, I'm pretty darn positive, a reissue. A lot of these old songs get printed and distributed, printed and distributed by numerous different companies over the years at different times. And you can find lots and lots of different versions of some of the really big hits that go back to the 50s and get released every decade because they got on a movie soundtrack or a TV soundtrack or something happened to bring the popularity of the song back into focus. Next up, we got Ringo Starr here doing You're Only 16, which would be a rather politically incorrect song these days. But back in the 70s, you could get away with that. In 73, so this is not too long after the Beatles, broke up, 3 years-ish. But that was his biggest album, I do believe. You can see that's Ringo there. It cuts out most of the picture, but it's Ringo laying on a star-shaped bed. You see it better on the album than here on the label. But that's cool, too, that they put it on the 45 single for us again. Devil Woman, which is might actually be the... No, well, I think Year 16 was the single. But Devil Woman was a song that got a lot of radio play, too. I do know this song. I do know it well, and I do believe it's on his greatest hits. So, come on back for episode 38. We're going to pick up where we left off here with another Ringo Starr. I think I've got a couple of them here in the stack. No, just one more. But we'll show you that one when you come on back for the next episode. Have a wonderful day.